Good morning, champions. I'm Rita Santamaria. I'm the owner, founder of Champions School of Real Estate, and I so thank you for your business. I always love to go into the live broadcast or go into the classroom and say, without your business, we don't have one, and that is the truth. So thank you for your business all over the state. We have our three wonderful campuses in Houston, the West, the Galleria, the North. We also have our North Dallas Plano campus, our beautiful Fort Worth campus. Then we go on down to Austin, and from Austin, San Antonio, live broadcast, online. Our mantra has always been whatever delivery best suits you, that's what we want to make available. So hello, managers. Hello, teachers. Hello, Kimberly, president of our company in Plano. Kurt, he's our VP in Austin. Debbie Blazes, VP in Houston. And all of those people that just make me look good. We very much enjoy helping you become successful in real estate. Our goal is to give you quality books, quality teachers, a wonderful experience with our counselors, but to give you free tools in order to help you grow. And today, one of those tools that's free is this great interview with Cindy Boutwell with Boutwell Properties. And when you go to our Champions YouTube channel, you're going to see all the interviews of top producers from all industries, and as well as residential, commercial, property management, loan, appraisal, inspector we're going to get to this year. So we welcome you and know that your instructors give you great information. But when you hear it from people that are literally doing it today in the trenches and you get their story, it has a whole lot more meaning.
Yeah.
So I am pleased to again have Cindy Boutwell here today. She's in the North Houston area. She's in a very popular hot market called the Cy-Fair market, and it is an actual community that is north, I would say a little northwest of Houston. And get ready to write down some great ideas, and as well know that tomorrow, if not this afternoon, you'll be able to watch this again on YouTube. So Cindy Boutwell, I've known you for a long time.
Yes.
And in fact, I knew you when your name was different.
Cindy Brown. Yeah.
Cindy Brown. And I just from time to time will see information about you. And most recently, she was the cover girl on the Houston Top Producers magazine.
Yeah.
And it always makes me proud to see one of our students there that makes it big time. So if you would just let our students around the state on Facebook, on live broadcasts know, why did you decide to go into real estate? What was your motivating factor?
Well, so my motivating factor was I was getting divorced.
Okay.
My dad had cancer, and I had taken care of him. And before he died, I told him, I'm getting out of this. I'm divorcing. And I promised him I would go into real estate. And so that's what I did.
Okay. So when you started out, did you have any worries at all? Did you have kids? Did you have, what was it like? And how long did it take you to get going in your new career?
So, yeah, I had some worries. I had been a single parent I'm not a single parent. I had been, in my head, a single parent, but I had worked several little jobs. And so this was all kind of new for me, and it was very exciting. And I had a daughter in high school, a daughter in middle school, and I had a son getting ready to start kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
And so it was a little nerve-wracking, but for me, I was just very motivated that I would make it.
So what did you do starting out that allowed, well, first of all, how long did it take you to make any money in real estate? Because I know right away our students are wondering about that. With 3 children, how long did it take you?
My first 6 months, I made $35,000. And back then, that was 20 years ago, was a lot of money. And so that was that was my thing. And we didn't have social media. We didn't have Google. We didn't have a lot. And so that was my first 6 months.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, back at that particular point in time,
that was a lot of money.
Unfortunately, that would have been a full year teaching salary for a lot of teachers.
Absolutely,
yeah. So the first 6 months to be able to produce $35,000 for yourself, how did you do that? How did you get started? What did you do?
I worked, well, I actually started with a big company. And I was an assistant to somebody before I got into real estate. And then so I had a little bit of knowledge, not a whole bunch, just a little bit. And so I went with that company. And for me, I wanted to go with where I would be successful. And at the time, that company was it. And I worked all property time. I would do open houses.
Now, for new people, they are not familiar with what property time is.
Oh.
And some smaller companies, they still do property time, especially in our outer areas of Texas. It's popular. So what is property time?
Well, property time back then, we had a freestanding office, and people would come in off the street and they would say, I want to buy or sell a house. And then you would be like, I can help you. And so that's what we did. And our people would call in and say, I'm interested about this house. So if you're on property time, you got that lead.
You got the lead. And now we have service companies that do that for us. And we don't have agents on property time. As far as the majority of agents don't do it. But as I said, there are some that still do. And those were automatic leads.
Right, absolutely.
So as well, did you do any open houses?
I've always done open houses. Back then, people didn't necessarily do buyer rep agreements. And so that was a big thing. And so
not at all. We didn't even know what they were.
And so people come through open house, and anytime we do an open house, I even learned back then, you have to know the neighborhood you're in. You need to know, everything about the area. So when they would come in and talk to us for open houses, I would know a whole lot about the community, and they either list with me or help them buy a house.
Now, you said you still do open houses today, and open houses are so important. Tell me, how often do you do open houses, and what do you do to prepare for an open house?
We do them every weekend. Everyone that's in my company is trained on how to do open houses. We have a lot of branded signage that we use. We start marketing usually because our weather here is so weird. And so we usually try by Tuesday or Wednesday, we start marketing that we're doing an open house. We advertise on Facebook and Instagram. And that's really kind of how, and obviously putting an IHAR.
So you start on the week of the open house advertising for your weekend open houses. And as you said, every weekend.
Every weekend, yeah.
I think it's really remarkable, and I congratulate you, that as a new agent, you went into a company where generally they only brought in experienced agents.
Correct.
And what really amazed me when I read your story, because I had no idea, but in a short time, you bought half of that company.
Yeah.
As well as taking care of your family and going forward. So how long were you in that company before you bought in as a partner? Do you remember?
It was about a year and a half, something like that. Yeah, about a year and a half maybe. We had a small office. We had an amazing group of people there. The broker who I really liked is a good friend of mine, and I was able to do that.
So how long were you in that office before you decided to go out on your own, open your own boutique office, and go your own direction?
Well, I was in that office for a couple years, and then we merged with a bigger office. And I guess 2017, 18 is when we saw that things were changing for us. And we decided we wanted to do our own thing. And then 2019, we opened our brokerage. It's December before COVID hit.
December before COVID hit.
December 1st.
You opened your own office, and then the world shut down.
Part of the world shut down, yeah.
Oh my goodness. But not for Cindy Boutwell.
No.
So we were talking a little bit earlier. You're not single. You haven't been single for
No,
a long time.
Yeah.
You married Dan Boutwell.
Absolutely.
And then you went from Cindy Brown to Cindy Boutwell.
Yep.
And he was already in real estate. Is that right?
He was actually in the office that I went to.
Okay.
And his kids were grown. And so, but when I went into the office, I partnered with a friend who was like-minded. And so, and then I had so many agents in the office I would ask questions to, and he was one of them.
Okay.
And then, and I figured, I'm a single mom. He's not going to deal with me. And then he did. And so it was kind of cool. So yeah.
And you've been married how many years?
A long time. Long time.
Sorry, I didn't mean to ask you a year in there.
He had proposed, and we were supposed to get married. And then I'm like, I don't have time to plan a wedding. You're still going to marry me. I'm still going to marry you. And so it took a couple years.
No time for a wedding.
No, we didn't have time. And then we did it like in 2007.
Okay, yeah. 2007.
Mm-hmm.
So together you decided to open your own company. Yeah. You call it, I call it a boutique real estate office. Yeah. How many agents do you have?
Right now we've got about 15 people that work for us total.
That's a nice group.
Yeah.
So if I were a new person walking into your office and I asked, okay, I'm looking for a sponsor. I would like to know what you have to offer. Let me turn it around a little bit. And if you would tell our students, as a very successful agent / brokerage, because again, I know Cindy, I'm so proud of her, and she is very successful, she and Dan and their company. What would you be looking for in me, the new hire, so to speak? What do you look for in a new person?
Well, one, when they show up to the interview, if they get the interview and they show up, before you meet with me, I'm going to check out your Facebook and I'm going to check out your Instagram. And if there's a bunch of trash on it, it's not going to happen. Okay. So yeah, if there's a bunch of inappropriate pictures or stuff that's not going to go with our core values, the interview's not going to happen.
I'm going to put a footnote to that because so many companies across the board do that, just to let our wonderful potential agents know that they do go
Absolutely.
and look
yeah.
and see, well, what is this person really like?
Right.
Just to get an idea, will they fit in professionally with our company? Okay. So then outside of that, where do you go from there?
So if they get an interview, we interview them. We typically only hire new agents. We don't typically bring existing in. Every once in a while we do, but typically new. They arrive on time. They arrive professional looking. I don't expect you to wear a suit if it's 90 to 100 degrees outside, but you're going to dress nice. Those are most important for us. And then just being able to hold a conversation and just seem like, we do a DISC profile for everyone also.
I love the DISC.
We do a DISC profile. If they get to that point, we do a DISC profile and we also meet family.
Okay. So I'm going to be really specific because I know right down the hall at the Houston North, we have 110 new people in our agency class listening. And they're saying, well, what does she mean by dress professionally? In this day and time, we know it's a lot more comfortable, a little more casual. So can you be specific? For a female, what would you expect to see or not see? Or let's just say see.
I don't want to see cleavage. I don't want to see number one.
Putting
no
on
interest,
the spot here.
Or your butt crack. I don't want to see that either. So not interested. I want you to wear like a dress shirt or a nice shirt and nice pants. I don't want yoga pants. Something you like. If you're going to come work for me, and I want you, and you're going to want to make $100,000, you need to look like you're going to make $100,000. And that's you're
a really
interested.
Good point.
Right.
You need to look like you are ready to make $100,000 in your new career. Okay. For a guy, what would you expect?
Dress pants are nice jeans and a nice shirt.
Okay. So that's simple enough.
Yeah, very simple.
And I know it's very trendy, and I'm kind of getting off a little bit here, but our students ask us this all the time. It's trendy to wear jeans with holes or frayed, that kind of thing. Is that acceptable if you were interviewing and they would be out showing property to a buyer?
Probably not. No.
Probably not. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if you were wondering what a broker looks for when they're interviewing you. So Cindy, what about training? How do you feel about training, your company training? what do you do for new people in that regard?
We have a lot. When we do, when someone comes on with us, I actually train with myself or my husband we do open houses, like I said, every weekend. And they cannot do an open house without training with us twice. So we have to do at least a minimum of 2 open houses. Any type of listing presentations, showing houses, we show them how to do all that.
I last year, might have been the year before, on virtual, I had interviewed a Gen Y agent out of Katy. She was very new and very, very successful. Her entire buyer base of prospects came from open houses.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
she said, I did them all the time, constantly. And you learn a lot as well. So with the idea of opening your own company and deciding on colors and logo and all of those decisions that we talk about in our brokerage classes, how did Cindy decide on signage, colors, branding?
It took us a minute. I mentioned earlier I got into real estate after my dad passed away. And for me, a cardinal is a it's like a vision of, it's like the past. It's coming to visit you.
We've seen lots of things written about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I've always firm believer of that. And so I knew I wanted a cardinal in our logo of some sort. I just didn't want a plain cardinal. And so we just sat and worked with it for a while. And we decided we wanted a cardinal on our signs. We wanted to be a little different. And so on our signage, we have on the top of our signage, we had a fabricator make a bunch of cardinals for us. We picked the one we wanted, and we have a cardinal on our sign.
And I've seen those signs. They are so cute because literally the cardinal sits up above by itself, above the signage, and it really draws your attention in that direction.
We actually named him too. So his name is Ready. We did an Instagram contest, and so his name is Ready. And we actually have a cardinal in all of our listings. So if you look at our listings, I forgot to mention that. If you look at our listings online, you'll see a cardinal in most rooms.
Oh my goodness. So someone sets the cardinal up somewhere.
Yeah. Well, we bring up so we start our team, we give everybody a cardinal that we have. And so every one of our team members gets a cardinal. His name is Ready. And they goes in all of our when you do listings, they go in all the pictures.
I love it.
Yeah. So people they're starting. I actually had someone do a non-realty addendum for the cardinal. I was like, no, you're not getting my cardinal.
The other reason I picked Cindy is to read about what she and Dan do is really very honorable, respectful, remarkable. They give back to the community in Sci-Fair all the time. Yeah. And by giving back, I mean time and monetarily.
Yeah.
So if you'll share with us what you do in the Sci-Fair area.
Well, so like we started our company, right before COVID hit. When COVID hit, we just saw a huge need for a lot. I mean, there was so much. So one of the very first things we did, because kind of towards Easter, is we always do Easter bunny photos with our customers. And so we couldn't do that year. And I wasn't able to see my grandson. And so I was like, what can we do? And so we brought the Easter bunny to Sci-Fair. And we had an
How did you do that?
So we had an app. One of my brilliant team members came up with the idea of having an app. And so wherever the Easter bunny went, the app was with it. So you had your phone on with the app. And so we advertised it out that we're going to be in these communities. And what was very cool is we had Channel 2 contacted us.
No way.
Yeah. And they wanted to do an interview with us. And so,
oh my goodness.
So it was so cool. So we, and my husband and I collect cars, vintage cars. And so we had a 64.5 Mustang convertible. And when we left our house, and I was the Easter bunny. No one knew it was me. Like, where's Cindy? Well, I was the Easter bunny.
It's hot in those costumes, Cindy.
Extremely hot, yes. We were going to take turns, and the first day I was like, no, this is gross. I'm going to wear this costume. It's gross. So anyway, I wore it, and we met her in the Bridgelands. And it was very cool because we had the app on. And so we were meeting in the Bridgelands, and people started coming on their golf carts. And so we did an interview, and I totally forgot. We had given her a college scholarship many years earlier. And
so the one doing the interview had received one of your scholarships in high school.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, so that we thought that was really cool. And then for the next couple of days, we did drive by Easter Bunny. And so, what was so cool about that is that when we would pull into subdivisions, we'd pull down someone's street, people would walk outside, and like all families were home. I mean, it
That's
was like even the
amazing.
teenagers and the younger kids, and we had like people would take sidewalk chalk and write on driveways, "Welcome Easter Bunny." And then we would stop for photos. We probably did 1,000 photos. But people would, either hand me their baby or their kids would social distance like 2 feet in front of our car, and we would do pictures. It was very cool.
That is so much fun.
It was a lot of fun.
A wonderful feeling to see all those kids just come out of the houses following you on your app.
Yeah, it made me sad not to be able to see my grandson, and who was just born in December. And so, I was just like, I hated not being able to do that, and I hated people not to have that experience of Easter Bunny. And kids were so excited. They were either excited or scared to death of us. There was no in between.
I have to ask, how did the Easter Bunny arrive every time? Were you in a convertible?
Yeah, so because of the app that we had, I couldn't drive in the convertible without the head on. And so when we pull out of our driveway, we had kids around us too, I had the head on. Yeah, and so we were just driving down the street waving, People were like, the world? And so it was just it was a lot of fun.
That's the best.
It was a lot of fun.
So she's also given regularly scholarships to high school seniors, $500 scholarships each.
We did. So last year we did Longwood swim team. We did five kids got $500 scholarships.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Now, I know some of our new people are thinking, gosh, I would love to do that. Obviously, right now, money is a factor. We have lots of time, not as much money. How long did it take you before you were able to go from donating your time, which you've done a lot of that, into being able to do scholarships?
Well,
Was that like part of your goal, or?
It just saw kind of a need. We've always wanted to give back to the community. And so we actually did the scholarships back in probably 2009 or 10 is when we first initially started doing them.
Okay.
And we wanted to give them to kids that were active in the community. So we didn't go after kids that were just straight A students. We wanted to go after kids that were active in the community. And for us, that was important. And we wanted to reward them for what they did. And so that was how we chose the kids. And then we've kind of just kept that up.
I think you mentioned swim team.
Yeah.
So that was the direction you wanted to go, the swimmers?
Well,
was there a connection with your family? Or what?
Yeah, well, I had a niece that was on the swim team. And so we went to all the swim meets, and those kids work so hard. And like the seniors, they help all the other kids. And so they encourage all the younger kids to swim and do well. And it was just kind of a good fit. And that's a neighborhood that we market heavily in. And we just felt a need to give back there.
There's so many wonderful things that you and Dan and your company do for the community in Cy-Fair. Tell us, if you would, about that $10,000 scholarship, and not scholarship, but gift.
Yeah, it's a gift.
And what was that all about?
So during COVID, one of the things that we saw, I've got a good friend that ran Cy-Fair Helping Hands. And
I'm not sure you heard that. She said Helping Hands.
It's Cy-Fair Helping Hands. It's an organization in Cy-Fair that helps the homeless and needy. And like, I had no idea there was. Yeah, I know. I had no idea there was homeless. There's actually homeless high school kids and kids that live in cars. I had no idea. And that to me just broke my heart. And so we just got involved with them, and we said, what can we do to help? They used to have senior groups that would come and do food, like giving the food out on the weekends, and they weren't comfortable coming because of COVID. And so we did it, and we worked in the pantry, and then we'd go to visit, and there's like no food in the pantry. And so, there's a lot of those families that are coming. I mean, they have kids, and some of the food that they get is just whatever they got. And so we would do cereal drives for them. And that was one thing my team learned, how competitive I am. I'd have them go out to different neighborhoods and we'd do cereal drives. And I would Venmo my friends, like, hey, Venmo me some money and I'm going to go buy cereal so I can beat my team. But that was kind of fun. But that was a need that we saw. And so we helped with them, and we helped them during the freeze. We helped get one of the warming stations set up. And we did, I contacted my lender friends and said, can you donate sleeping bags? And they did. It was amazing.
A warming station.
Yeah,
What was that all about?
Oh gosh. And so when we had that Snowmageddon, I call it Snowmageddon, but we had Snowmageddon.
It was so bad.
It was
so
horrible.
Many frozen pipes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was not fun. There was homeless that live on the streets in Cy-Fair. And so they had Cy-Fair Helping Hands had 2 locations. And, you know, we had to set them up pretty quickly. And so I'd gone just to help make sandwiches and do food and stuff like that. And then they also needed people to spend the night. And so I called a good friend of mine. He's a lender. And I said, hey, what you doing? And I said, can you do this? And so he did it. He went and did it. He spent the night, and he's a real big guy. And I was so impressed with him. And so, yeah.
Well, you can sort of see the theme of today. And the theme of today not only is about opening your own boutique company, but I also wanted our students to hear about giving back to a community. We have listings in that community, and we get the business to support our families from a community. But when people see that from your heart, you're giving back, that involves your time. Yeah. And there was another one that I want you to mention before we go forward, and it's the pumpkin fall contest. Because we talk about different seasons and how you can do things to get in front of your customers. But I love what Cindy and Dan do in the fall. So tell us about pumpkins.
And we've been doing this for probably 18 years. And so Dan and I, Dan grew up in Florida, Texas, which is right outside of Lubbock, which is the pumpkin capital of Texas, which I had no idea. Being from Houston, yeah.
I didn't even know we had a pumpkin capital.
I didn't either until you go to Pumpkin Days Pumpkin Days. So we get the Big Macs, which is like the big 100-pound plus pumpkins. And it's called a Guess My Weight contest. And we did it in Fairfield a long time ago, and then we did it at Hamilton Elementary, and we do a math contest, and so the teachers all love it. And the pumpkin weighs as much as so many vampires, or so many Barbie dolls, or chihuahuas, and you have to guess pound and ounce. And then we have a little envelope that has the secret weight, and so the school does it. And so it's a math contest. And then for the kids, most of the schools have special needs kids, and so we always do the little pumpkins for them.
That is so much fun.
And we do like 10 to 12 now of these pumpkins. And so now our whole
10 to
team.
12 schools?
Yeah, each year now. And so our team will show up with these massive pumpkins. And we have them. We go to Florida, get them, bring them back, and then we donate them out.
So you and Dan get in the pickup truck, go to Lubbock, get the pumpkins, and then come back. And how many schools are involved?
Right now we're up to about, I think last year we did 12. So it was a lot.
That is remarkable.
Yeah.
This lady is so absolutely entitled to all the success that you have. It's incredible. So was there a defining moment when one day you just forgot about worrying, not forgot about, but you didn't have to worry so much about bills? Will the next customer walk in the door? Did you have that feeling, or how is it still for a person who's an entrepreneur, an independent contractor in real estate?
I think I always had that. That's just in my mind. I mean, I think for me, I always have, will people still like us? Will people, want to do business with us? Are we going to have, what's going to happen in the market? And I think for me, I'm always that mindset is like, you always want to make sure you have continued business. I think that a defining moment for us, I think, was when we wrote that check for $10,000 to Cy-Fair Helping Hands. Because normally, like when you write a big check, it's like, ugh, it's horrible. Like I don't like doing this. It's scary. It's not fun. And we were able to write it and be so thankful we could do that. And so for me, that kind of looks back. And we've got a goal. We want to do 100,000 next 5 to 10 years. And so that's our goal. And so being able to start off our second year in business and giving 10,000 to a company, that was huge.
That is huge.
Yeah.
That is so helpful, huge, and says how connected you are with helping the community that you live in. So I am a brand new person. I'm sitting in class right now, and I'm thinking, I want to be like Cindy. I want to do what Cindy's doing. So what would be baby steps that you might give to a new person that they might be able to do to help their community get their name out in the community? What would that be?
I would say make a list. I'm a big list writer. I'm a huge list person. I make lists every day. But one of the things would be to come up with like a top 50 people that you know. And if you don't know top 50, top 20, top 10, top 5. And let those people know and find out, let those people know what you do without being obnoxious by it. And so,
what do you mean by obnoxious? Because that's a very good point.
hey, I'm a realtor. Do you know anyone's buying and sell houses? I hate that. I hate that. Ask me for, I want referrals. No, don't do that. If you want to wear a name badge, that's cool. Because that's not saying you're a realtor. It's like, oh yeah, I have a name badge on. I'm a realtor.
It's not bugging someone to death.
Right, not bugging. If you have a portfolio that has your company name on it, or who what you do, that's fine. Wearing a hat, sponsoring a team, doing stuff like that. Going out and saying you're in a subdivision and you're showing houses. That's something you can do. But posting nonstop on social media that you're a realtor and for people to work with you, no.
Yeah. They know that because you are wearing a name badge. You also might be wearing branded wear that you mentioned. And then you're giving back in the community, whether it's the local car wash for the high school and you're helping out. You have children in school, you have nieces, nephews, whatever.
Absolutely.
Getting involved in your community.
Sponsoring teams, showing up and volunteering to help. I mean, if you have a kid that plays softball, now that coach always needs help. So you can always help them. You can stand and catch with them. There's always
just
things
be
you
sure
can
to
do.
wear your baseball cap.
Wear your hat.
And have your name badge
have your
on.
cup that says I'm a realtor.
And have some business cards.
Absolutely.
So now we're going to go from that particular Cindy in today's world who's been in business for over 20 years. And we're going to go back to like a different situation. And not situation, but we're going to go back to sort of like the beginning again. And in that beginning, what were some of the fears that you had, some of the goals that you had? Are you a believer in gold? Do you have any mantras? Do you feel like our students need to sit down and really decide, where do I want to be next year? Where do I want to be in 2 years? What did Cindy do in order to be where she is today?
Well, my husband has a mantra that I've always loved, and we say it every day with our team. Like I can say, we just started with our team, and the team will follow it out. It's a brand new day, never been used before, full of opportunity. And if you look at that, every day is a brand new day, and every day is full of opportunity. And that's to me such a big thing, because it is. And you could have one day where you don't do as well, and then the next day is a brand new day.
It's a brand new day, full of opportunities.
Yes, a brand new day, never been used before.
Never been used before.
Full of opportunity. And my husband's full of opportunity. He's like super obnoxious by it.
Who came up with that?
Him.
Did you
he
or
did.
Dan?
No, he did. Yeah, he did. I think he probably said it with his kids.
That's
and so for my kids, I've always done the same. Like if if my son was Debbie Downer or something like that, I would show him something on YouTube just to make him. There was a little 4-year-old girl on YouTube one time that said, you can do anything. And I would show him that, and he's just like, oh my God, this is so dumb. But you can do anything. You have to put your mind to it.
And do you have a mission for your business, or how do you feel about that? Is it mainly working around your mantra, which is very, very positive?
It's just being positive and staying in contact with your customers is huge.
Because right now, I know that Cindy has a full-time marketing person.
Right.
So they went from doing all of those things on their own, and but her goal, and obviously getting to that point financially where she brought in a marketing person. What was that decision like, and what does that marketing person do?
The marketing person, on my second one, the marketing person that we have is amazing because they can do stuff like I may not be as knowledgeable with. Because there's so many different platforms that come out. I mean, initially there was Facebook, and then there was Instagram, and then there was TikTok, and there's all different kinds. And that's what they do. And they work on our branding to keep our branding with our vision. And so that's kind of what my marketing person is. When you have a business, like when I first started in real estate, I mean, it got to a point where I had to hire somebody. So I hired an assistant, and that was first. And then I hired another assistant, and then we need more for marketing.
I'm sure that was a huge decision to hire a buyer's agent or to hire an assistant, because so many of our new agents that are busy say, well, I need an assistant, I need help, but then I have to share my income with them. So knowing that that's there and you have to share your income, what made you go to that next step to say, okay, I'm sharing my income, but I need an assistant?
I don't look at it as sharing my income.
Okay.
I mean, for me, I'm not, yes, you're sharing your income, but it's making sure that you do everything you need to do and get done, because sometimes you can't do everything yourself, and having somebody that can there help you make you become a better person, that's what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what you want.
When my business started growing is because one day I had a defining moment. Coming back from Corpus Christi, I just taught a class to brokers at the board office in Corpus. And I thought, until I delegate all over, correct, and just stop being in the mix of everything sort of basic to the business, it won't grow.
Right.
So you definitely are the person people want to see. You're out making the rainfall, so to speak, and you have to have people around you that do excellent help in order for the whole business to grow. I always say they're people that make us look good.
Right, absolutely.
And they do. And but it's so huge to make that determination on when you need help.
Yeah.
And how much help. And yeah, that marketing person, I'm sure, brought your business to another level.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've been very blessed with who we've had.
Now, what about coaches? How do you feel about having a personal coach to help you?
I've had a personal coach for a long time.
Okay.
And I researched coaches and tried to find the one that was the best fit for me that not everyone else had. And so that was a thing for me, is I wanted to coach. When I was with the other company, I was in the top 500. I was we were very successful. We're the number one team in their office. And we got to a point, I went to an award ceremony and a training, and they were talking about, getting new websites for you. I'm like, I'm in the top 500, buddy. I don't need a new website. And so that was kind of one of the things for us, is like, okay, this is a defining moment for me. It's kind of my aha moment of, you need to do your own thing. And so, we hired a coach, and just to get us to another level. When we got to that level, we're like, well, there's another level we can get to if we have a coach that can guide us. That's what we wanted.
Coaches are very popular.
Absolutely.
And again, for our new people, your coach initially will be when you go into the office to interview and you ask the question, what about, what about training? Your initial coach is that trainer in the office.
Yeah.
And then as you progress, just a little rule of thumb, when you have enough money that you feel comfortable bringing in a coach, and that may be sooner than later, because coaches do help you come to the next level. A rule of thumb is like 1 to 2% of your gross income is what you should spend on yourself for training, education, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And coaches are very, very helpful, and we hear a lot about that. Cindy is a busy woman. Right now, they're also building out a new office. Is
Absolutely.
That right? Okay. Do you want to tell us about that? Because it's a really cool concept.
It is very cool. So we are, we actually live, I didn't tell you this, we actually live in a log cabin. So we're in a log cabin in Cyprus on 2 acres. So we're very random. And so we wanted to do something that wasn't typical. Like we're not going to do anything that's going to be the same as everyone else. And so we're looking at grain bins. And I thought, well, that'd be kind of cool, because that's one of the things my husband and I do all the time. That'd be kind of cool. We can do that. And so we have that all the time. We can kind of make people crazy on that. And so we started looking for a grain bin. And so we did a grain bin silo. And so we looked around and tried to find something. And we actually found one on eBay, which was really random, and in Wisconsin. And my husband drove up, got it, brought it back. And so we're building a grain bin silo.
Okay, so I'm going to repeat that because she says it so naturally and normally. A grain bin silo.
Yeah, it's 30-foot diameter
So will people inside Fair be able to see the silo as they drive around the neighborhoods? Or not?
They could probably see it. It's in the back of our property.
Okay.
So yeah, it's the back of our property. One of the things, like, we were going to do an office outside our property. And then our team loves coming to our company. So we do company events and lots of stuff. We have zip lines and fun stuff.
In a log cabin.
And we're a log cabin, yeah. And so, but our team, they like coming. Our team is very close knit. And so, like, coming to our office, and we have barns and we have donkeys, all kinds of fun stuff. And so, we thought, well, it'd be kind of fun just to do one here. And so that's what we did. And so we contracted someone to build it. And all we had was the picture on eBay of what it looked like on the inside. And they were amazing, and they did it. So yeah.
That is wonderful.
So we should be hopefully doing a grand opening in August.
Very unique, and you'll get lots of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And it's part of who you are.
Yeah.
You really are.
I mean, we're making the light fixtures. That's one of the things that we can see something. I'm like, that'd be a cool light fixture.
Like what? Give us an example.
So when we did our house, we added a back porch to it and enclosed it. And so we have a huge family. We needed more farm tables. And so we saw some like wine decanters. And I'm like, that'd be kind of cool if you turned it upside down. Or cut the bottom of the base out and make it a light fixture. And I showed my husband. He's like, yeah, I can do that. And so we did it. And then I wanted like a 12-foot farm table. And I'm like,
you have 7 children, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And a million grandchildren. And we always have tons of people over.
Uh-huh.
And so we had the two, like probably a 12-foot table in our family room. And then, it doesn't fit everybody. And so we built a sunroom and we have another table there. And so, yeah.
Room for everybody.
Room for everybody.
Lots of acreage.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Mm-hmm.
What does Cindy do for fun? Do you ever relax? Do you have a hobby? Is your relaxation like building, making light fixtures? What does Cindy do for hobby relaxation?
Well, my most favorite thing is to hang out with my 2.5-year-old grandson. That's my absolute.
I always say it's like a mini vacation.
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
You can't think of anything but what they're doing.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
fun.
And he's extremely funny. So I love hanging out with him. So I build fairy gardens, which is really random, but I build fairy gardens, and I try to design them for grandkids. And so, like, for him, I've got one with dinosaurs on it, which he thinks is really funny.
Now that's on your property?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I like landscaping. And so for landscaping, for me, I always like to have something blooming all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we bought the property, you couldn't even see it from the street. And so I always want things to be pretty.
Okay.
And
so gardening is
gardening's a big thing for me. Yeah.
Good.
And I can kill snakes now. So that was the other thing. I can kill a snake. I couldn't do that a couple years ago. I can kill them now.
She can kill a snake also.
We have copperheads. And so we'll post pictures of copperheads.
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, their heads come off. And so they're gone.
Wow. And she says that while she's smiling and laughing.
Yeah, you have to.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of them, and you have to take care of them.
Well, yeah.
Get rid of them.
But if my husband's there, I'm like, hey. But if I'm doing something, we have like stuff around the property that we can do it. Because we've got 5 dogs. And they're little. They're all, we also rescue. And I volunteer with one of the rescue groups, All Texas Dachshund Rescue. And so I can no longer take in dogs because I'll become a hoarder. Mm-hmm. And so we volunteer with them.
Another volunteer.
Well, we go to people's houses to make sure they're worthy for the dog is what I do, to make sure the dog won't escape and be safe. And so
do you fit the profile? Okay, you can have a dog.
A profiler, yeah, a dog profiler. So yeah.
She is a busy lady giving back to the community for sure. So proud of your success and so happy for your success.
Thank you.
So if you were to look back to the very young Cindy, what advice might you give to yourself?
I would just say, I would say you're going to make it, not to worry.
Okay.
But I don't know if I would have listened to that back then. That would probably be the biggest thing, that you're going to make it. You're not going to have to supplement your income. You're going to be able to make it.
You're going to be okay.
You're going to be okay. Yeah.
Don't worry so much.
Yeah.
Because now those 3 little ones are in college, out of college, and look where you are in your life.
Yeah, my oldest one in college, out of college, working on masters. My middle daughter is out of college and just received her master's, helped with the college, and I have a son who's in law school at Baylor, and help pay for all that.
So all of that, she walked into Champion School of Real Estate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Independent on her own. And today here she is with this wonderful story to share with us. And it's just very inspirational, very remarkable. And I'm so, so happy to have you here today,
well, thank you so
Cindy.
Much.
Cindy Boutwell, Boutwell Properties, Cy-Fair area, which is like Northwest Houston. And every month we have a new wonderful champion. Next month, we're going to have Wakita Jones. Wakita's out of the Fort Worth area.
Oh, okay.
And as all of us know, in real estate and around Texas, Fort Worth is just on fire.
Yes, it is.
It is so busy with new construction, and all of a sudden, all of Texas is looking at Fort Worth. So Wakita is going to talk to us about technology, using that in your real estate career, and sort of finding your way through this new atmosphere, this new market that we have all over the U.S., but most definitely Fort Worth is interesting, and she's going to tell us about it. So that will be next month on July 19. So you can also see it on the Champions YouTube station. I just want to remind you that our superstars and Cindy Boutwell, I am sure you will be in one of these soon. But we take our interviews and we put them in our Successful Tendencies of Real Estate Champions book so that you can hear their story, read all about it. I know you took our luxury home course with Rosemary Bickford, and we have so many wonderful courses that help you feel self-confident. If you're going to be a broker, if you're going to open your own boutique company, you have to take the brokerage course. I personally love it, because it talks about how to decide on your sign.
Yeah.
Of course, you had that vision on your own and wanted that cardinal sitting up there, and your colors and your branding and just even the layout of your offices. So you can also use it for SAE. I have loved talking with you today, my friend. And I just want to say you are so very, very interesting. And you definitely prove that life changes constantly.
You have to.
And you just have to go with the flow of what comes next. And you have definitely done that. And you've done it well. So thank you for being a champion, for listening, watching us today. And again, we so appreciate your business. So till July the 19th, when we have Wakita, I will say goodbye. Thank you, Cindy.
Bye. Thank you so much.